Hi everyone, my name's Kerry Clancy and I'm so excited to be making this video and sharing this information to you about my Sacred Heart Spiritual Awakening course that I have been working on since we've been in lockdown and in social isolation. I'm really excited because it's given me time to reflect on everything that I've done in my life, and what came up for me was the reasons why. And for all of us, we always have things that happen that we may not like, but there's a reason for it. So what I'm going to teach you is how to dive deep in and develop your intuition, open up your psychic ability through opening up your heart, coming into a place of love for self. I'm going to teach you how to develop these skills in a way that you can use them in every moment of every day, how to meditate and how to meditate energy out of your body that doesn't serve you, meaning the energy of others. So for example, if you walked into a room, I'm sure we've all felt this, maybe a party environment, a social environment, you've walked in by yourself and all of a sudden you've got and you've just felt the energy of others. That's just energy moving, but it means you've come in at your frequency level, which could be really high frequency of love and fun and joy, and you've walked in and these people have got their stuff, their energy is lower than your frequency. So that's what that means. So I'll teach you how to work with your energy and become your energy master. So what I've done is drawn on my past skills. So when I had to really think about what have I learned in my life so far that could be useful, and the things that came up were absolutely amazing. So you might want to do this as well, or maybe it's something that we could play around with in the course together. So I thought about, okay, my first real job at 16 was actually a laboratory assistant. And what I did was I used to work, it was the biology of learning about the biology of cells and growing cells from a virus, which is interesting when I look back. Now, I didn't do it for very long, not for years, but I learnt enough about vaccines and viruses and things. And it's interesting because what I teach, part of my teaching is, sorry, I've just reached over because I wanted to show you this. So in part of my teachings, this is a cell, a happy cell, and around it, a cluster of cells. Around the cells is called tissue, and then the cluster of tissue forms muscle. So it all holds memory, our cells, our muscle, our tissue. There's a lot of memory going on and being held within us. So I teach you how to define that for you, because we're all different where we're at. Now, the example of the party, walking into the party that I just used, is we're all very different and we're all at different levels and where our energy is at. But I'm going to teach you to become the master, and it's all about your wellness and well-being. So ask yourself daily, how well am I being? Or maybe perhaps first thing in the morning, how well are you being? So this is what well-being means. Am I really taking care of me? Do I know what I need to take care of me? Well, you don't know what you need until you seek what's within, because otherwise you're looking for external answers from others. So it's about finding, what do I need, what fits well with me. So I teach it as part of your intuition. It'll be part of the intuition, but I'll just go back to the things that I've done in my life. So I got really excited when I started doing all this. So I was a laboratory assistant, then I went on and I had a couple of little jobs in between that were just cleaning. A lot of people might think, well, a meaningless job, but I value that experience because it taught me the value and respect for people who do clean for others. It's a service that is provided to help others, so there is nothing wrong with being a cleaner. I remember though my boss was very hard and rigid, which sometimes wasn't pleasant for me, but part of this is being resilient. to those energies. So we won't call them people, we'll call them energies, to that energy of others, because they're obviously going through their own energetic shift. And if they're in a low vibration, it's your job to just be aware of that, not your job to fix their energy, because we really can't. We can't take someone's energy and start manipulating it, because that's not beneficial for them and it's not beneficial for us. It will suck the energy out of us and our good energy will be depleted. So these are some of the things. Anyhow, what else I did, I moved on to I had a business, and I ran a business in my late 20s, which was did very, very well for me at the time, and it was good for me because I was a single mum and I had 2 children, and I was able to be at home for them when they come home from school and make sure they got to school okay. So it worked really, really well, and we, at least at that time, I thought, well, at least I can put food on the table, we're running the business. I was able to buy a car. Just my life just changed considerably, and I learned a lot about business. Then in my early 30s, I started working I did a course, and I learnt how to become an administrator for health. So I learnt medical terminology and a bit more. Then it goes back to learning more and the study, the science behind the cells. And this is where I'm leading into something here about the neuroscience. So I did that for a few years, and then I climbed the ladder very quickly, actually, and became the coordinator of the department. So I managed staff. I was the team leader for doctors and nurses and worked with them as like a holistic model we used for health at the time, for the elderly. So, and then I went and started working for police. That was very exciting. One of the highlights of my working career was working in detectives for a year. I was blessed to have that opportunity. It was amazing. It gave me so much insight about life, about people, about trust, having faith. Yeah, and many, many skills. I gained many, many skills from that opportunity. I then went on to become back into health. I worked for health, and I went to university. I was a mature age student, and I became a social worker, welfare worker. I have a degree in human services, and I was a counsellor for many, many years, 10 years. I've worked in many, many spectrums: mental health, community health, developing community programming, do a lot of outreach, many, many modalities. And again, more skills to develop. And then I had a near-death experience in 2011. So I was reflecting on all these things that have happened to me. I've been married, I've been divorced, I've suffered grief and loss of a child that was in utero. I've done many, many things, became a yoga teacher. So as a yoga teacher, I trained here at the Yoga Barn in Bali in Hatha Yoga and became a qualified yoga teacher. And then I went to India and done more training, and I studied with a professor of yoga from Kannur University in Kerala, India. And I also studied Ayurveda for about a year and a half, and I became an Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant. So there's lots of things that I've done that have really brought me to this place of having all this insight. Before I share about my near-death experience, I'll just go back to India for a moment. So I just decided to go off, and for some reason I was drawn, what I wasn't realizing, that my expansion, my spiritual expansion, was becoming so profound that I was receiving information about where to go. So I had this like feeling in my heart to go and do sound healing and learn about sound, and I did. I did 2 levels of sound healing, up to advanced and gongs, and understanding frequency. So that was a pretty amazing and profound experience to add to my already skills that I was gaining through this experience of my near-death experience. The one thing that I really loved about learning about sound was how it holds a frequency. Now, whether it's sound bowls or whether it's a guitar or music or whatever feels good for you, if it holds a tone. So if it's some kind of musical instrument, the flute is very powerful. All these instruments actually resonate with our heart, which is why they make us feel. Why dance? Or we go to a dance, put a favourite song on, and we feel good, because the energy is aligning with our heart. So that's pretty amazing. But we'll learn more about that in the course. I also became a Reiki Grandmaster, and which helped with my spiritual counselling, because it taught me how we all have this power within us to heal. We don't have to become masters of this. We just need to learn the basics, and then we can empower ourselves to use our skills to help others. So we have that becoming a Reiki Grandmaster was probably the one thing that really awakened me to the fact of how powerful we are as humans. Now, in my face-to-face workshops and retreats, I get people to come together and align their energy. I teach them how to open their heart, and we put someone on a table, on like a medical table, and then or a plinth, and we get them to just close their eyes, put crystals on their body, and then we all put our hands on the person for healing, and that is gracefully received. So these are some of the things I'll be teaching. I've worked with people with addictions. I've worked with grief and loss. I've done grief and loss training, cognitive behavioural therapy. So it's working with the psychology of the brain. It's a bit like going and seeing a psychologist, but it's a therapy that's used to put the brain into alignment, into a better way of thinking about a situation. So that's just the basics of it. And I've also done behavioural emotional therapy training, so teaching people about their emotions and realigning. So there's many, when I sat down and wrote out what I've done in my life, I thought, wow, I must share this with the world. And I think if we all just sat down and really looked at what we contribute to this world and what we've done, what we've learned from others, we all have a special gift, and that's what I want to teach. What your special gift is, how you align with your gift, how to become, the word abundant is really out there in the law of attraction, but what it means is how to attune with you, use your intuition to step into your own power, so you can create something masterful or your gift, using your gifts to the world. And that is and you don't have to worry about money, because the money will come, because you're coming from your heart and you're finding that unique gift that you have inside you to share with others. Also, in the first course that we do, there's an extra bonus, a gift, which is my little handbook that I created. So I'm an author, but wow, I didn't put that down either. So I'm an author, and this is my first little book, my handbook. I have another book, Heal to Live, which I don't have here at the moment, but I wrote that in 2017, or I actually had it published in 2017. And last year, 2019, I wrote this children's book, but this is a free gift if you sign up for the Sacred Heart Spiritual Awakening course. In the book, I write about unicorns. There's a little meditation in there. There's a beautiful picture of Mother Earth, which when myself and the illustrator were sitting down creating Mother Earth and how I wanted her to look for this book, it just came out beautifully. I'd like to acknowledge her, Yola from Bali. She's from here in Bali, but Mother Earth, you know. And these are the angels. So a lot of people now are opening up to the world of angels because because of the isolation, we have more time to sit within ourselves, and what happens is we start channeling. But more about that through the course. And another thing that I'll be teaching is about, this is what our cells actually look like inside, and these little things sticking out here are receptors, and these antennas are receptors that come out. But your cells, for that to happen, the cells need to be happy. Otherwise, those receptors are blocked energy. So I'm going to teach you more about that in the programs, on the online programs, on the one-on-ones that we'll be doing together, and our group settings on Zoom. So looking forward to meeting you all and working with you in this way. It was a bit of a shift for me to do this, but I thought, no, how did I start when I look way back in my spirit, when I was spiritually awakened? I started from just me, and I just had to trust what was in here. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. So have a beautiful day, everyone. Namaste, and look forward to connecting with you online. Thank you so much.